Hey, what is up? Welcome to the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lofermento, and this is an episode that I've been so excited for multiple reasons, because I'm joined by an awesome guest today who is not only passionate, very passionate, by the way, about all things marketing and business growth, but he's also a fellow New Englander. So I'm going to tell you about today's guest. His name is Cole Sieper. He is the co-founder and head of operations at Quantek Marketing. When he first started in business, he discovered how challenging it is to generate attention and get customers. This is something that literally 100% of us entrepreneurs can relate to. So in addition to talking marketing with Cole here today, we're also going to talk about entrepreneurship as well, because not long after that, he realized that many other business owners feel the same way. So he decided to leverage his connections and build a dream team marketing agency to make sure no business owner ever feels stressed, overwhelmed, and lost about marketing again. Quantek Marketing helps business owners in so many different ways, from Google Ads to social media. They also create some interesting social media content themselves that I'm excited to talk to Cole about here today. So I'm not going to say anything else. Let's dive straight into my interview today with Cole Sieper. All right, Cole, dude, welcome to the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited.
Me too, man. Always good to have fellow New Englanders on. You're here representing New Hampshire here today. Cole, you're also, I will say this, you are one of the younger guests that we've had in Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast history, which is so near and dear to my heart, having started my own business in the good state of Massachusetts back when I was 19 years old. So I'd love for you to fill in the gaps for listeners. Beyond the bio, tell us your backstory. Who the heck is Cole?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was first starting in business, I was definitely one of those people that was thinking I was going to have that overnight success. And the first business I decided to start was a tech wholesaling business. And the idea with it was we were going to flip different computer parts on Amazon and Shopify, and just market different computer parts and just general drop shipping. So when someone would buy, we would just order a few different parts from a wholesaling company and ship them to the customer. But after running some numbers with that too, we foolishly thought that we were going to hit 6 to 7 figure run rates in a few months, which I don't know what we were thinking there, but I mean, just riding that naiveness, we went to go seek funding, and we went to family and friends, and we showed them our prediction for revenue, and they didn't know much about business, so they thought it was an amazing idea. They loved the numbers, and we got a good amount of money to get started and get a go at it. And we had no idea what was about to come next. So we set up an LLC, PayPal account we could use for managing the funds, built a website, and started to design some ads for Google and Facebook so we can market the different tech products we were going to sell. And we thought we were about to strike it big, and we're already talking about like all the Ferraris and private jets we were going to buy. But finally, when we finished the ads and submitted them, I went to sleep one night, not knowing what would happen the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I woke up a few days later to find out that our ads had blown through almost all our initial spending with no sales. And that definitely sucked. But we still had some money left in our PayPal account, so we weren't too down about it. But the next day, I woke up to find that we lost access to our PayPal account with the rest of our funds that were funded by friends and family. And I mean, at that moment, I really had no idea what to do. And I just felt so lost and overwhelmed. and I felt as if my dreams had been crushed, but I wasn't prepared for what was about to come next. And next week, I was blindsided when my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. And not long after that, when I was visiting my grandfather, he had a bad stroke in front of me and my sister. We were luckily able to get him to the hospital in time. And then to top it off, about a week or two later after that, my dog Bear got hit by a car going 30 miles per hour. And I felt like my life was just doomed, and I had a failing business where I lost all the money my family funded. Multiple family members' health had declined, and I was unsure how long I had left with them, and my dog almost got killed. So, I mean, a while later when I decided to start Quantek Marketing with a few different people, we wanted to build out a team of amazing marketers so we could make sure that no one else felt as lost as I did when I was first starting in business. And now we have a team of 15 people that have been running ads on Google and social media for the past 12 years and generated over 200 million in revenue for different clients. So I'm Cole Sieper, and I believe that social media and Google ads are the fastest ways to get customers in the door.
Heck yeah, Cole, I love that story for so many reasons right here at the top of this episode. And the first thing that I want to call out there is that you did what every single one of us does when we start our first business. Is you just assumed I always laughed in business school when our professors would say, okay, step one of your business plan is give us what your 1 year, 5 year, 10-year revenue targets are going to be. Of course we think we're going to crush it. Nobody's like, oh, I'm going to make $100 in my first 6 months, which I made $200 in my first 6 months. We all think we're going to crush it. And then as you were telling that story, Cole, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I know a decent amount about your story, but at every curve of the way, I kept expecting you to be like, boom, but then this one ad campaign hit it and we crushed it. But the reality is the story kept getting worse. We kept feeling worse and worse for your entrepreneurial story. And that's why I've been so excited about today's episode, because that's the real stuff. That's the stuff I don't think we talk about often enough within the world of entrepreneurship. And I also think that it's those building blocks, those pain points. You already talked about it. You don't want other business owners to experience that. It's you experiencing that you said, I want to get really good at marketing. I want to create a team that's really good at generating leads and helping people get clients so that other business owners don't have that. I think you had to go through that pain to get to where you are on your entrepreneurial journey. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about some of those lessons that from that colossal failure, I can't even imagine what it was like to tell friends and family, hey, yeah, we lost the money, to now saying, okay, let's breathe easy. Let's come at it from a more strategic and intentional perspective and do what matters when it comes to growing a business. Talk to us about why Quantek Marketing after all of that. Why the focus on Google Ads, the focus on marketing. What changed in your line of thinking?
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be lying if I said that Quantek started off great as well. It definitely had some bumpy times in the beginning stages. But I mean, really the overall thing that kept me going was just staying positive, keeping a very positive mindset, and just also writing down my goals twice every day, just to completely keep my focus on what I want to do with my life and not get distracted by just all the failure, and instead use that failure as leverage to push myself forward. And yeah, when we were first starting Quantek, actually, we still made a lot of mistakes. We weren't very good at business at the time, and we're still learning. And the biggest mistake I would say that we made was not building out a team quick enough. And we actually didn't really start getting good results until we built out a good team. And in the beginning stages, we were trying to do it as a small little group. And it wasn't until we we brought in a bunch of really powerful people that we started to really get those results going.
Yeah, talk to me about obviously building out a team is awesome, but I also love how for you guys, I mean, it's right in the way that you talk about your companies. You're just like, hey, we've helped clients generate this much money in revenue up to this point. And so clearly it's also shaped your approach to business as well, and the way that you execute to help other businesses grow. You are more revenue focused. Obviously, anyone who sees your marketing, sees your social media, knows that you are more lead focused. Talk to us about the difference between obviously when things weren't working so great versus now, and you helping other businesses actually grow through these learnings that you've picked up.
Yeah, so definitely the biggest thing I've learned about marketing, and I'm definitely not the expert, that's why we have a team. But the most important thing that I picked up is that when you're marketing to a specific audience, you have to speak specifically to a certain audience in their language. Because when you try to market to everyone, you'll reach no one. So it's very important that when you're speaking to, like, let's first say you're going to speak to like business owners or business owners that are in real estate that don't know much about like marketing in our case. We don't want to be going on our marketing like in ads and social media channels with all our flashy terms like CPC and CPA, like all these different terms that they have no idea what we're talking about. You need to break it down very, very simply and speak to their pain point. So a basic framework that I like to use is called the GAP method. And the G in GAP is to get attention, to get their attention. And this is where you speak to your very specific audience type. And then the A is ask about a problem you know they have. So this is where you want to ask if they're experiencing a common pain point you solve. And then the P is to promise to solve with an offer. And this is your call to action. This is where you want to direct them to like a landing page or to take a certain action that you want them to take. So for example, this could look like this. Dads, do you know that 91% of the bonding time with your child happens between the ages 0 and 12? We offer planned activities to make the most out of bonding time with your kids. Click the link below to get access to memorable moments with your kids when it matters most.
Yeah, Cole, I love that tangible example because not only are you giving us that framework that works, but you're also showing us it in action. And that's exactly the type of heat that I expected you to bring to today's episode. And frameworks are something that we can always fall back on, which is helpful for every single business owner. And the thing that I really like about that is it's not about reinventing the wheel. I think we as marketers, we think we need to get too clever. We need to do things too outside of the box. But the reality is these frameworks are frameworks for a reason. It's because they've worked for decades, for centuries, as far back as humanity goes. So I love that tangible example that you gave to us. And hearing you talk about not only your own entrepreneurial story, but talking about putting ad campaigns together, I can't help but think about one of my favorite posts that I've ever seen you make on social media, which is you were on a rocky beach and you picked up a rock and you said, hey, entrepreneurs, this is your post. And all these other rocks that you see on the floor are social media. Way too many entrepreneurs think that they can take this one rock, throw it into the land of social media, and then you spin the camera around and you say, can you see that post anymore? Can you see your post? And the reality is it got lost in the beach of a million other rocks. And so to me, it speaks to a few different levels of your entrepreneurial journey and why you are awesome at what you do and also passionate about what you do, is that one, you didn't think that your first business was going to be the one. You threw the rock into the world and you were like, okay, well, it's gone. Let's try again. Let's keep increasing our volume of rocks. But two, you're right, is that marketing is that iterative process. Marketing is about consistency. It's not about one post or one ad campaign. It's about all of that. Talk to us about some of those real life, because I love that you bring real life examples to the table. Talk to us about some of those real life examples of sometimes entrepreneurs think, hey, I launch one campaign, it doesn't work. Google ads don't work. Talk to us about the realities of what you see inside your clients for that.
Yeah, definitely. Consistency and quantity are the most important things with marketing. And I love that video too. Like, that's my favorite video I have on social media. I just came up with that thing on the fly, but yeah, really, social media it's like the ocean. And if you're throwing one little stone in there, or putting one little boat into the ocean, it's going to be very hard to find that. People aren't going to see it. And a lot of people think, they get into the mindset that they want quality over quantity, and they want to make their boat or their rock in that example the most like shiny and the most polished rock in social media. But if you're looking at that beach filled with rocks from a distance, you're not going to see that little shiny rock. You're going to see this ocean of just tons of like random rocks. So if you can have tons and tons of content being pushed up on a ton of different platforms just constantly, then your business can start to become that ocean of rocks. You can start to build like a whole little sector around your business. And when people are scrolling around on social media, or they're searching for something online, they're going to start to find you. And I mean, a good example with this is if you look at like Fortune 500 companies, and you'll notice that they put their name everywhere. Branding it's very important. So you'll see that like FedEx, for example, like all their cars, they got a massive FedEx logo on the side of their truck. And a lot of people would say, like, when they're buying a truck, say if a small business owner had was buying a truck for a delivery business, they would most likely see that, okay, it's going to cost me like $2,000 to paint the side of this truck just to put my logo on it. What's the point? The people I'm delivering to have already bought my service. But the thing is, these Fortune 500 companies know that you need to have your name and your company everywhere. You need to be everywhere online, because if your ideal audience can't find you everywhere, you're not going to go anywhere. And really, when your marketing starts to explode and get a lot of results, it's when you have good branding and your branding is everywhere, that people start to remember you. So the next time they're thinking about buying a service that you offer, like say you're like a salon and someone wants to go get like salon stuff. I don't know salons, but then they're gonna remember, like, oh, I see these guys on social media all the time. It looks like they have all this great work. I see their name everywhere. Why don't we go check it out? And then they get in there, you have amazing service, and now you have a lifelong customer that will come back.
Cole, you're just as guilty as I am at running into examples on the fly where you're just like, why did I pick salons? I do it all the time where I'm just like, imagine if you're a yoga instructor. And then as I'm running through that example, I'm just like, I know nothing about being a yoga instructor.
I know.
But with that said, I love the advice that you're giving there. And there's something that I really want to dive into that, because in doing my research to talk to you today, obviously you love marketing, and that's why I know that this is such a fun conversation for both of us to have. But I also noticed how frequently your marketing, you already talked about talking to your ideal customer, your marketing will call out, hey, realtors, hey, brokers, and you're talking directly to them. And I can't help but think, I love the fact that you use the ocean analogy, and that's why I love that beach video, is because I've also heard the analogy of like, it's like dropping, food coloring into the ocean. If you and I drop 2 drops of food coloring into the ocean, nobody will ever see it. It won't do a single thing. If we drop it into a pool, maybe, but if we drop it into a glass of water, for sure we can change the color of that glass of water. And it's almost as if the smaller the body of water, the easier it is to make an impact. And that's why I love how individualized your marketing messaging is to real estate brokers, to whoever it is that you're looking to help at that moment in time. I'd love to also extrapolate that into your actual like paid advertising, for example. I know when I was a teenager and I started out with Facebook ads, I thought, I wanted my estimated audience size to be 200 million people. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized, well, hold on, I can't really affect that many people. Talk to us about balancing that out. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, you already said it, Seth Godin, it's one of his favorite quotes. He says, everybody is not your customer, but we all wish everybody was our customer. Talk to us about your approach there when it comes to putting together campaigns and also more broadly, just marketing strategy.
Yeah. So definitely when marketing, just like I was saying earlier, you have to speak to a very specific audience. So if you are a salon and you need to, the first step you really want to take with that is you want to build out a customer persona. And that is basically when you're building out a customer persona, you want to basically just make like a mock person and give them a name, add like their interests, what they would do on a normal day, and like maybe a product they might have just bought. Like for example, like maybe your customer just bought the new iPhone, and you can find ways to leverage that into your marketing. So when you're actually doing marketing, you want to, like Brian was saying, speak directly to the actual person and their problem. So, because when you do this, it catches their attention. Because when you say real estate agents, now anyone that's watching that's a real estate agent is going to start paying attention, and the rest of the people will just click off. But if you're trying to target everyone, you're not gonna catch anyone's attention. So you really have to be very specific with each video who you target. And just make a lot of different videos, like if you're going to target different audiences. And then in your video, just after you created your customer persona, just find those really, really prevalent pain points that you know that the majority of that audience has, and tell them how you can solve that problem in a very quick manner. And that's really the basis of it.
Yeah, Cole, I feel like it's advice that so many of us entrepreneurs who are in the game, who are taking on clients, who are putting together marketing campaigns, it's advice that we always give is come up with your customer avatar, but too many people don't do it. So it's awesome hearing how prevalent that is in your approach as well, saying, hey, sit down, think about one person. For me, anytime I talk into a camera lens, let's face it, it's awkward for all of us to talk into a camera lens. I just imagine that camera lens is one student of mine who I'm making that video for, is one podcast listener who I've exchange emails with, who I know that this episode is going to help them. I always just imagine that I'm talking to them. And that leads me into my next line of questioning, because something that I think is so interesting about the way that you guys work at Quantek is that there are so many tools out there. There are so many platforms. You've already mentioned TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Google, so many different platforms, but also there's a big elephant in the room that not a lot of people are ready to deal with, which is AI. And that's something that you guys are already talking about. I'd love to hear your perspectives just more broadly before we dive deeper into it. What are your thoughts on how AI can positively affect marketing? And also, speaking about talking on that human level to an individual customer, what are some of those things that you fear that entrepreneurs, if they don't understand how to utilize AI, might detract from their marketing?
Yeah, well, AI is definitely, it's a wild card, like you said. And that, I mean, I don't think any of us are very ready for what that's going to bring. But I would definitely say people need to adapt with it, especially us. We're actively investigating how we can adapt with it, because we know that AI will completely crush the marketing industry. Because very quickly, there's a lot of AI softwares that are coming out that make it very easy for you to market your business, and it's very important that you leverage those. And for us, actually, I don't know if I'm really supposed to talk about this, but we're actually in the process of building out a software that will allow people to, I don't know if I should really talk about this, but it will allow people to basically plug in their information of their business, and AI will automatically generate, but it will basically scan the internet of all their competitors and different people in a certain industry, see what ads and different social media things are working, and it will, in like a couple minutes, create an entire marketing, like with a marketing campaign with video sales letters, funnels, and everything, and social media posts that will automatically send out. So we're in the process of building that. Probably shouldn't have leaked that, but definitely AI is going to take over. You need to take advantage of it. And I mean, I saw an interview a couple of days ago with Elon, and he was warning about like how AI could take over the world. So I don't really know how that's going to work, but maybe we need to build bunkers too. But I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I feel you on that. And I saw the exact same interview with him, and I had the same thought as you. I was like, until the day that AI, and God forbid, maybe we shouldn't be saying this on the air, until the day AI can stroll down our streets, I'm not exactly afraid of it on a physical sense, but we'll see what Elon Musk has to say about the future of it. But I love the fact that you guys are developing that tools. And let's face it, so many people, because this is a new frontier, there are pioneers who are also building tools like that, because you're right, that is the future, and we can't ignore it. And so that's why talking to so many entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs all around the world right now as we are, I'd love to get your perspectives on how the human aspect is always going to complement that, because obviously there are tools. We've never been blessed with more tools than we are today. Yeah. You as a marketing agency, obviously you have people who have done, you've already talked about it, more than a decade of experience in running ads. How much of it is still going to be human driven versus AI driven?
Yeah, I mean, AI will definitely take a very active seat in it, and most likely manage a lot of the day-to-day operations of running ads. But there will always be a human element, unless like AI takes over the world, but there will always be a very human element a part of it, because AI just isn't capable of having like that emotional connection with another human being. So really, if you're in business, the best way you can adapt with it is just utilize it and work alongside it, and make sure you can keep that really like. There's going to be a lot of people that will need to like check the AI and like see what it's doing, and also just like get on calls with customers. Like that's always going to be a thing. But for us, we definitely see it taking over a lot of like the day-to-day like management of different campaigns. That's definitely going to be just like automating a lot more spending and creating creatives, which is going to damage the whole industry of graphic design. That's going to get hit pretty bad. And yeah, but there will always be that human element, because you need to make sure that AI is doing the right thing, because it's not perfect.
Yeah, and also you kind of hinted at it when you talked about the software product that you guys are developing, in that it takes a human to also make sure it does the right thing, that it does the competitive research that you're asking it to, that it can come up with VSLs, that it can come up with copywriting formulas and sales pages that work for you. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, if they're thinking, well, I'm just going to go out and have ChatGPT create all my marketing campaigns, your outputs will only ever be as good as your inputs. So really important consideration there. Cole, we've talked about so many things already here today. I'm pretty sure you and I could talk about marketing all day long. But one thing before I let you go today is that I know that you're also passionate about the beginnings of a business. You've had multiple business beginnings yourself. I'm in the same boat. This is why I think you and I love entrepreneurship as much as we do. And one thing that I was really excited about today's episode is that I know that so many listeners of our show are still newer entrepreneurs, and they're probably thinking, gosh, you guys talked about Google Ads, you talked about AI, you talked about all the different social media platforms, you talked about copywriting formulas like Gap. I love that one that you shared with us. What are your best tips and strategies, though, for those newer entrepreneurs who are just starting out and there's a million directions they could go in, a million different marketing activities they could be doing? What are your best tips in those situations?
Yeah, definitely. If it depends on how much budget you have. So if you're starting out and you have a low budget, I would recommend social media and going very heavy on that. But social media does take a lot of time. So it takes a lot of time, but it's basically just free. And like we were talking about before, you just want very consistent content on there. And the goal, very quickly, let me go over this. The goal is to build a very solid foundational audience. And we're starting to dive into social media a lot more now. We didn't do this much in the beginning. But really, the best way to grow an audience quickly on social media is to leverage the audiences of your friends and connections and family. And leverage that credibility they already have. So what you can do is just basically call up all your friends that have like some followers on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or whatever, and just collaborate with them and do like a social media live with them. And then just talk about your story of your business and talk about like this problem you solve and give them some very actionable steps. And people will be very, very willing to follow you and even be like just buy your service right off the bat there. But it's very important though that you have a good amount of content on your account. So when someone goes and looks at your account after seeing you on the social media live or YouTube live stream or whatever you're doing, or just collaborating on a video on there, when they go check out your account, they're going to see that you have good, valuable content on there that's going to help them. So if you got a low budget, I would recommend that. If you have a higher budget though, I would recommend paid ads. It takes a lot less time. But the reason I love paid ads so much is because to me, it's basically the same as like printing money. If you do it right, that is. And Google has like over 5 billion searches a day. It's insane. And YouTube, which is also, so YouTube ads are a part of Google Ads, has over 50 billion minutes watched on YouTube each day, which is insane. So, and the nice thing about paid ads too, with Facebook and Google, is you only pay when someone clicks on your ad. So if you do it right and you have a good landing page, which is very important, then you're really only paying when you get like a lead or a sale.
Yeah, I love that advice, Cole, particularly because what's really layered beneath that advice is something that I wish somebody told me way earlier on in my entrepreneurial journey, which is if you have more time than money, leverage that. And you said if you've got time to go hang out with other people in your industry or even just friends when you're just starting out on live streams, that's an easy way to go way beyond just your network and get in front of other people's social networks. So I love that advice. But on the flip side, if you've got more money than time, then you're right. Paid ads is the accelerated way to do that. And I love seeing how much you light up when you talk about Google Ads. And you're right, the search volume, whether you sell dog leashes or yoga pants or whatever other examples we can run into, or hair salon services, people like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every single day are searching for your specific niche. Even if your niche is something crazy like glow in the dark frisbees. I don't know why that's the example that I came up with, but people are searching for that. Probably hundreds, probably thousands of people are searching for that all over the US alone every single day. So I love that advice, Cole. Anything else you want to add on Google Ads? Because I feel like you light up when you talk about Google Ads. I love seeing that.
I could just go over some basic cycles if you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Listeners love, because here's the thing is that I feel like in the world of entrepreneurship, we're always preached to about Facebook ads. We're always preached to about specific avenues, but Google Ads is one of the OGs in the paid advertising space. And the reason is because it works. It's worked for a long time. It will continue to work for a long time. So Cole, give us that education that we need.
Yeah. So there's really two things you're going to be doing with Google Ads for two different business types. You're going to be doing lead generation if you're like a service-based business or a high-ticket product business. And you're going to be doing just like e-commerce or just selling a product straight on a landing page. And so for lead generation, the first step of the cycle is you're going to have your ad that will generate clicks. So that you want a good creative on there that will catch people's attention and get them to click on your ad. And then the second most important part is to have a very, very good landing page. If I can quote Grant Cardone, he says, "Don't let your ads page write checks that your website can't cash." So your landing page, you got to turn all those clicks now into leads or opt-ins for lead generation. And the goal with that, if you're like a high ticket business that you're trying to sell like a service, you're trying to get them to book an appointment with your sales team. And then the third step is to follow up with different leads and retarget different people that view but didn't opt in. And then you have your meeting and call for step 4, and then close at step 5. So then for e-commerce, you have the same thing for step 1, where you want to have a good ad, the good creative, or like a video that demonstrates your product and get them to click on your ad. And then once again, step 2, you have a landing page. And this landing page is going to convert those clicks straight to sales. So if all these people that sell courses online, they have a landing page and it's a sales funnel. So you'll go in the first page, they'll have like a video sales letter where they talk about how, about their course, their product. And then they sell you on that video, and then they say like, go spend all your money with us, and then a lot of people will buy, but most won't. So step 3 is to retarget non-buyers with more ads. And then step 4 is to sell. And you can mix in other campaigns in there too. Like a good way to maximize your conversion rates and get the most out of your ads is to also integrate email marketing in between, and just like straight up like cold calling and everything too for follow up. And like if you can build a good list for email marketing, that is so valuable too. So yeah, those are the 2 little cycles that we go by.
I love that overview for so many reasons, Cole, particularly because it leverages so many aspects of what we talked to up to this point. Don't just show up once in front of them, incorporate retargeting into your strategy. And then you also added, hey, capture those names and email addresses, get them on your email list. There's no reason you can only show up on Google Ads. You should also be showing up in their email inbox, show up on social media. So all of these multi-channel things, all of these ways to get in front of our ideal customers and clients. Cole, feels like a natural segue here because I know that I have a lot of homework when it comes to reassessing so much of my overarching marketing strategy, and our listeners for sure have a lot of homework. But I know that you guys, I actually think I saw it was one of your co-founders post on social media. I think it was Lucas who was talking about don't pay for advice about this stuff. There's so many amazing resources out there. And I know that you guys have an amazing free resource for people who are saying, wait, Cole, what's all this stuff that I should be doing? How do I actually succeed on paid advertising? So Cole, you've been a wealth of knowledge today. I want to open up the floor for you to tell listeners where they should go to learn more about you, Quantek Marketing, get their hands on that free guide, and what the heck they should be focusing on from here.
Yeah. So like Brian was saying, we do have a free paid ads guide where we outline what we do, our 7-step process for getting results from paid ads. So if you go to www.quantekmarketing.com/podcast, you'll be able to grab that free guide and we'll send it straight to your email. And the framework is what we use, and this is what we've used for that's allowed our team to help over 500 clients produce over 200 million in revenue. And I just like to note again that I really don't want you guys to just feel as bad as I did when I was first starting and just like getting slammed in all directions and feeling completely crushed and overwhelmed by like life and running a business. And once again, like the biggest mistake I made, this is really the biggest mistake, was trying to do it all myself. And I was in the mindset for a very long time that I had to cut costs and stay small for some reason. I don't know why I was thinking that, but it wasn't until I reworked my mindset and started to build out a big team that I started to get success. And I mean, look at any billionaire and you'll see that the company that they started that grew to billions of dollars or trillions, started with an obsessed team of people that had a burning passion to make the company successful. And there's no billionaire that built up a multi-billion-dollar business without the support of a lot of people and a great team. And I mean, the other benefit to having a team is that you get to share the moments of success that are so powerful with other people. And you get to experience this amazing thing that is life and entrepreneurship with great friends and amazing coworkers. And yeah, so I mean, if you guys are remotely feeling lost about marketing or scaling your business, just go grab our free guide. You don't have to do it alone. And once again, that's quantekmarketing.com/podcast.
Yes, and of course, as always, all of you listeners, you do not have to remember that link. Wherever it is that you're tuning into this episode, we are dropping the link to Cole's free guide down below this episode. So it's quantekmarketing.com. That's Quantek, Quantek marketing.com/podcast is where you can get the free guide, as well as check out everything that Cole and his team are doing at quantekmarketing.com. They're very transparent and open about not only the results that they're getting for clients, but also about their actual approach and the things that they believe. So also give them a follow on social media. The cool thing I think you guys have on your homepage is that people can schedule a free 15-minute demo call with you right there. They don't have to email you. They don't have to call you guys. They don't have to go out on a limb to a stranger. They can just pick a date and time that works for them right there. So Cole, I love how much of your mission is also driven by your own entrepreneurial journey and helping other entrepreneurs avoid that burnout, that fatigue, those failures, those challenges that you yourself experience. So you've been a wealth of knowledge here today. quantekmarketing.com/podcast is where people can get that free guide. Tune in down below for all of the links to Cole's business website as well as their socials. So Cole, thank you so much for joining us on the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast today.
Thank you so much.